So I'll start with our level 2 program. That's a 1-year course. Okay, so it's really good if you're just looking for that qualification in sport and then looking to maybe get into gym instructing or something like that. It's also a really good course to progress onto level 3. So if you don't get your GCSE grades to get you onto that level 3 course and get you doing what you want to be doing, then it's a really good course. We've got some pictures there for some fantastic activities that we've been fortunate to do through the level 2. There's a picture there of Matty with Raheem Sterling when we went to a England game and we got to meet some of the players, and some residential pictures. But that's a completely coursework-based course. So loads of different fun activities to take part in. It's run by some really passionate, enthusiastic staff. And it's a really, really good course. A lot of our level 2 learners go on to study level 3, and a lot of them are now going on to our HE program, which I'll come to later. Next slide, please. So level 3 sport, which is my passion because it's what I did when I was at college. It's changed a little bit since back when the dinosaurs were knocking around, but it's basically broken down into those 2 years that you can see there, and the different units that we'll teach on those over those 2 years. Okay, BTECs have developed, as you might know from doing them at school recently, where there's examinations, and these differ probably a little bit from the ones that you've done at school, as a lot of them are like scenario based, so it's all about applying your understanding. It's a fantastic course to the equivalent of 3 A levels. And we've got some really fun, engaging lessons for you and some great tutors who will help you along the way as well. The external units there I've just highlighted and put a star next to, and you basically undertake 2 external units a year, and the rest are coursework based. So we'll look to challenge you through presentation skills, creating posters, leaflets, video logs. There'll be practical demonstrations. You'll have to coach some sessions, lead some sessions. There's loads of different ways in which we'll test you and get you ready to be working in the sport industry. Next slide, please. So that was sport, and now I'm going to focus on sports science, okay? And I'll come up with a little bit of a comparison on the slide after this, okay? So sports science, as it suggests, is more of a scientific route. It's for less the vocational student, I would say, although it's still a vocational course, there's still a lot of heavy theory in there. Okay, so as you can see there, there's a couple of students dissecting a heart, I believe, a session with Amy, and looking into different caffeinated drinks, I believe, there as well. So it's a very similar course in the way that it's organised, in that there's 2 exams each year, and those different units are starred there, as you can see. Anatomy and psychology in year 1, and then nutrition and physiology in year 2. So this course is ideal for those of you that have got your science GCSE, or when you get your results you get that. It's really, really important that you've got that, because there are some really complex theories that you'll have to work through. As you can see, some of the challenging subjects there could be your anatomy, your psychology, nutrition, physiology, and that course really does prepare you really well for your higher education, which I'll go through very shortly. Can we move on to the next slide? Sorry. So I've tried to separate this out for you. So this isn't an indefinite list, by the way. You could study the level 3 sport course and be a nutritionist, but these are just some suggested pathways that we suggest that you take, okay, because these are the ones that complement each of the courses, I would say. So if you're looking into your crystal ball and you want to know what you're going to be in the future, and you're planning to be a sports coach, for instance, then I would probably suggest that you went down the sport route, because it's a little bit more vocational and because it's a little bit more hands-on. A lot of our learning is going to be out practicing doing things, okay? We get the iPads out, we do a lot of analysis, and we reflect back on our performance. So these are just a few different ways in which we can sort of separate the 2. So for instance, for sport and exercise science, a lot of previous students that have come to us, they want to go down the sort of physiology route and maybe look at the treatment of injuries. And that's a unit that you will do on both courses, but the one in sport and exercise science is a little bit more detailed. So if you're interested in becoming a nutritionist, a psychologist, a physiotherapist, a sports therapist, they're the sorts of roles where it might be better to have a science-based background because of the level of detail that you go into. So although these, like I said, these list of jobs aren't definitive, these are the ones where if I was thinking around one type of job, I might go for the sport and exercise science route. And if I might go for the sport route, if I was looking for maybe like a fitness instructor or a teacher. Okay, as I've already mentioned, approximately we do have an HE program which is run by the University of Hull. So a lot of our students, around 40 to 50% of them, do actually graduate from these level 3 courses and then stay with us for another 3 years to get their degree, which is fantastic for us to watch as tutors, because we get to see people from 16 to like 20 odd, and really like going into the industry and with that first-hand experience, and to be able to be a part of that's really something special. Next slide, please. So, other than the different courses, okay, we do offer the different sports teams. So you can see some brand spanking new kits there. So there are slots on the timetable which allow for training and fixtures. So training tends to be on a Monday for everybody. So all of these different sports teams would be training on a Monday at a specific time, and you won't have a lesson during that period. It'll be a specified time where you can train with your teammates and your coach and really harness those skills that you're trying to practice moving forward. We've got the Football Development Centre there in the red kit. They train twice a week and then play fixtures on a Wednesday. We've got the female netball team there that train once a week and then play on a Wednesday. We've got the rugby team, which is associated with Hull. They play on a Wednesday as well. And then we've got second team in football, and we've got a women's football team as well. And all of these teams all compete on a Wednesday, which is fantastic. And we get to travel around to different colleges, use some fantastic facilities at our place and at other colleges. We get to compete nationally if we're really successful at the regional tournaments. Okay, so even if you're not doing a sports course, there is potential for joining into these sports teams as well. It's worth noting. Okay, next slide. Right, last few things. So we do have a lot of extra opportunities. Okay, there's at the minute it's a bit up in the air, obviously, with how things are going, but hopefully when this all settles down, there's absolutely no problem. We normally run a residential every year, where we might do some mountain biking, rock climbing, abseiling, and team building exercises, so you all get to know each other and get comfortable around each other. We've run lots of successful trips where we had a football tour to PSV Eindhoven in Holland. We've been to Wembley Stadium, as I said already, met all the players, which was fantastic. We travel around the country to take part in fixtures on the Wednesdays. We also get some really fun trips as well, like going to Inflate a Nation, Escape, taking part in some little team building activities there. And we've had some success at St George's Park through the People's Cup playing football. We're also fortunate we've got lots of good connections within the industry, so we're able to draw upon experiences of people who are there and doing it now. Okay, so we know people from the FA, we've got people at local businesses like the Selby Leisure Centre. We have athletes come across from Sky Sports for Living, that connection that we've got from Hull FC. And as well as your main programme, there are lots of other opportunities to study and do additional qualifications. So although those programmes I've talked about are full-time, we do run some other awards alongside that. I think there's going to be a couple of questions from what I've seen lined up there. So
yeah, we've got a couple of questions for you, Richard. So somebody has said, what are the exams like on the BTEC?
Okay, so like I said, they're probably a little bit different to what you may have done at school before. Some of them are just basically knowledge-based. So you'll be tested on everything that you've learned in that unit for the year. So similar to what you may have done at GCSE, just with a little bit more content and maybe a little bit more difficult. But there is a different type of external assessment as well, and they're scenario based. So we get given a scenario before the exam, and you get some time to prepare for that and use your notes and use all the lessons that you've had in the year to sort of prepare you to answer the questions. And actually, in some cases, we actually know the questions that they're going to get asked. It's just a case of being really prepared and making sure that you can apply it to lots of different scenarios.
That's great, thank you. And somebody just asked, do I have to pay for my own sports kit?
No, so sports kits for fixtures will be provided for you. The only kit that you might want to purchase, it's something that we're talking about as a course team at the minute, is some Selby College branded swag that I'm representing right now. But some of that is involved in course fees and things like that. But those conversations are ongoing at the minute. So not to worry about kit or anything like that. We just ask that you dress ready for practical at any point, because a lot of our lessons are practical based, and it will mean getting out and about and doing things and trying things.
That's great, thank you. And final question, what days will I be in college, or how often will I be in college?
The majority of courses are in 4 days a week, with the Wednesday afternoon off to participate in those fixtures that I talked about earlier. So I think it's only the sport course that might be in 5 days a week, but that's to allow for extra courses like English and maths. If people haven't got the grades in English and maths, then there is an opportunity there to sort of brush up on those skills that you'll need for later employment.